오셔서 얘기를 하는 데 있어서 우리 그 어렸을 때 굉장히 많이 마음이 아팠을 것 같아요. 여기 가서도 속하지 못하고 저희 가서도 속하지 못하고 You didn't belong anywhere. At that time, what was you feeling?
I mean, everyone wants to feel like they belong, right? I mean, that is like a very human feeling. And I think what I realized is that you could find belonging with the people when they got past just the surface differences. And so, yes, there was a way that I didn't look like anyone else, or I had a different family than everyone else, whether or not I was Korean. I didn't look fully Korean, and had a different family with a Jewish father. And in the Jewish community, it was like I looked obviously Korean. And but once you get past the way someone looks, you realize that you can find people that you connect with about values that are more important than that.
Right.
And so when I found people who, you know, were kind, who cared about learning, who were curious in the world and empathetic, those became my people, and they created my sense of home and belonging. And you can do that in any community you're in.
That's what your mother told you.
Yes,
Oh,
that's right.
So you always remember that.
Yes. Yeah. And I watched both of my parents make that happen. When my father was in Korea, he was the only American around all my Korean family, and he felt at home there, and he really embraced and loved Korean culture so much. And when my mom moved here in the beginning, before she brought all of her sisters here and brother, she felt like the only Korean, but she also, and in the Jewish community, she was the only Korean. But she found her way as well.
I remember that your father came to the Korean event and sing Korean songs.
That's
It
right.
was very memorable. I still
Yes.
remember.
My dad speaks Korean and writes in Korean
Yes.
and sings Korean songs and loves Korea so much. And so, you know, yes, he can never become Korean, but he is an integral part of a Korean family.
That's right. When you raise your children, how do you, you know, what is the main, how can I say, direction
Yeah.
to their growing up?
Yeah. You know, my children were raised in a very Jewish community. Their mom is a rabbi, so they grew up in a synagogue with me, but also they went to a Jewish school where they learned Hebrew and all of the values of the Jewish community, and these lived on the calendar of Jewish time. But it was also important to me that they understood Korean culture, and that meant that, you know, not only did they learn Korean folk tales and stories, which taught Korean values, they ate a lot of Korean food, which they love. And we went, the first trip we took back to Korea was with my parents and my sister and all of her children, all of us together in a big van. We took a long trip and visited the motherland. When we were in Korea, and my children were pretty young, my mother wanted to make sure that my children could all read Hangul. And so, you know, I don't know if you know, but it's in my book. I am the 19th great-granddaughter of King Sejong the Great, who created Hangul. And that's not the only reason to learn it, but my mother was also a teacher of Korean.
Yes.
So on the bus, in a couple of hours, she said, Hangul is such an amazing language. A child can learn it in 2 hours. And then she proved it by teaching all of my children Hangul. So when we were going through Korea, they could read the signs on the street, and it was like, King Sejong's descendants have learned Hangul. And then, you know, my middle son, he was supposed to go to college in the middle of the pandemic. He did not want to go to school when it was all on Zoom. So he said, I'm going to go to Korea for a semester, because Korea actually did a much better job in the beginning of the pandemic being open. So he was 18 years old, and he lived in Korea for 3 months, and he did basically an immersion Korean language program. And he learned Korean very well, and stayed with my Korean family and met them, and he loved it so much that when he got to Yale, he went to Yale also. He studied Korean at Yale, and then got a fellowship to go back one more time, and he studied at Yonsei University for a summer.
Yeah.
3 more months of Korean language. So now my son speaks Korean much better than I do, even though Korean was my first language. So, but my middle son knows Korean very well.
엔젤라를 가졌을 때, 엔젤라를 낳을 때, 엔젤라가 이렇게 클 거를 생각을 못했죠. 그렇죠? 그리고 우리 한인 커뮤니티가 이렇게 뭐 LA에서도 그러고 뉴욕에서도 그러고 이렇게 많이 커졌을 줄 몰랐잖아요. 바로 그때를 생각해서 이렇게 엔젤라로 하여금 Jewish rabbi로 크게 해주셨을 것 같아요. 하나님께서. So 그래서 우리가 정말 무슨 일을 하든지 항상 긍정적인 생각을 가지고 가졌으면 좋겠어요. 이 앞에는 지금 앤젤라 아버님 나와 계시고 또 이렇게 해서 좀 다른 소리가 들리긴 하지만 아버지 그 프레드 워닉, your father, right?
Okay.
And then 설자 워닉, both of them are very successful in the Korean community that we know. And you are the one who heritage all those, culture and brightness. So you must go on, and then for the right direction, and then grow up. We will support you from the community. Okay.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
자식들을 키울 때 저는 이제 교사 생활을 했으니까 조기 교육이 굉장히 중요하다는
네.
거를 저는 항상 머리에 넣고 있었어요. 그러니까 이 애들을 3살 전에 벌써 다 이게 형성이 된다고 이렇게 믿는 사람이에요, 저는. 그러니까 어릴 때 제가 3살까지 이렇게 좀 막 밤에 잘 때마다 내가 책을 읽어주고 한국 스토리 얘기해주고 이런 식으로 키우면서 그 다음에 이제 하여튼 3학년 때까지는 무조건 모든 책을 다 읽을 수 있도록 이런 식으로 해야 되겠다 이런 또 이제 생각도 좀 있어서 그냥 굉장히 이렇게 좀 매일 이제 토요일마다 그냥 도서관에 데리고 가서 책을 한 보따리씩 이제 갖고 와서 읽고 해서 그 다음에 또 이제 또 오면은 그럼 이제 얘들 이러면 좀 이제 책 한 권 읽을 때마다 이제 10전씩 주고 이런 식으로 이제 그렇게 하면서 하여튼 제가 볼 때는 그 애들이 책을 또 많이 읽으면 자기들이 여러 다양한 경험을 책에서 할 수 있잖아요. 그리고 이제 좀 이제 컸을 때는 이제 무조건 더 많은 세상을 보고 익히기 위해서 제가 멀리 보내는 거.
네.
우리 아빠하고 저하고 좀 의견이 틀렸어. 예를 들어서 얘가 고등학교 졸업하고 이제 UW의 그냥 언어 프로그램에 그냥 풀 스칼러십으로 뵀는데 나는 이제 욕심에 무조건 애는 저기 이스트 코스로 가가지고 동쪽으로 가가지고 그 짝의 칼처 문화도 좀 배워서 이렇게 시야를 좀 넓혀야 된다. 이제 이런 식으로 해서 이제 제가 또 이제 예일 대학으로 보내고 이런 이제 그게 이제 도움이 됐는지 모르지만은 저는 그런 게 좀 헬프했다고 생각을 해요.
그렇잖아요. 이렇게 사랑하는 자식은 멀리 보내라고.
맞아.
네.
그래요. 땡큐.
네. 오늘 이렇게 시간 내주셔서 대단히
네.
감사하고요. 바쁜 스케줄에도 지금 여러 곳에서 인터뷰가 많이 들어온다고
해요.
얘기했거든요.
오해도 지금 3군데를 해야 돼.
이렇게 시간 내주셔서 대단히 감사하고 앞으로도 그 모든 어려움을 잘 극복하고 이제는 더 많이 더 크게 더 큰 사람들한테 좋은 인포메이션 아니면 그 설교 많이 보내주시기 바랍니다. 네. 감사합니다.
땡큐.
네.
정말 오늘 귀한 시간 내줘서 감사합니다.
네.